Hello friends, today we're going to be making RJ from the BT21 characters, and here he is. Of course, just like always, I am just going to show you the first two rows of this tapestry, quote unquote, because I do not have time to make a full-time tutorial. However, I do, if you guys want me to, I can always make time to make a step-by-step tutorial. Just let me know down below. But as of right now, I'm just going to show you a quick, easy 2-row how to do a forwards and also a return pass with a Tunisian simple stitch, which is the only acceptable stitch we use in this channel to make a tapestry, and to make those crisp edges and to have everything look in place and have those color distinctions with the Tunisian simple stitch. And I'm going to be using this pattern in particular. Of course, each square counts as a stitch, and we're going to start by chaining 33 chains. Here's just a quick note of where I find my personal patterns to make any tapestry. I go to Pinterest, and of course, as you can see, there's always a plethora of things that you can find. But for our scenario, we're just going to type in the search bar RJ pixel art or alpha pattern. And once we have typed that, there's going to be just another bunch of pictures that we can find and that we can click on. In our case, we're going to do this one. We adjust it to size and we're good to go. And once we have our chains, we're going to work onto the back side of our chains. We're going to work onto these loops right here. We're going to skip this very first loop because it corresponds to this stitch, and we're going to grab our hook and insert it onto that little bump right here. We're gonna yarn over and pull, and we're gonna keep our stitches in our hook, which is a absolutely beautiful, kind of very efficient thing about Tunisian simple stitch is that you always work onto the front side of your project. It's kind of like knitting. So Tunisian stitches or techniques are usually a combination of regular crocheting and knitting. As you might notice, I have a quite a big hook, and I do believe that you can get away with making this tapestry on your regular crochet hook. However, if you do happen to run out of space, I do suggest that you kind of like attach a little string of yarn onto this very, tail end of your hook, and you should be good to go. The reason being is that your hook should be able to have space for all of your stitches all at once, because that's really kind of what knitting is also. And your hook should be looking just like this, and we continue to do that all the way down our chains. And of course, try to double count them. It's easy to skip or to add a stitch. You should end up with 33. For our return pass, Tunisian simple stitch also kind of takes a little bit of a longer time because we have a forwards and we have a backwards. So this is called our return pass, and we're going to chain one onto the very last stitch. We're gonna grab our yarn and pull through 2 of our stitches, and 2 and 2 and 2 all the way down our row. And we should have something just like this one. This is our very first row. I know it takes a little bit a longer time to make a first row, but let me show you what we're gonna do next. So we're gonna grab our pattern and we're going to count our second row, which is our second row. We're gonna count the number of squares it takes to get to that black stitch, or to those 2 black squares. And by doing so, this one always counts as 1. So this little loop on our hook counts as 1. And we're gonna grab our yarn, or our hook, and we're going to insert it onto that front loop only of our previous row. And we pull our yarn through that little loop right here. Again, that front post only, and we pull, and again until we reach those 2 squares. And it's 14 squares. Just to make an FYI, I actually cropped the original pattern to make a 33 by 37 tapestry to match my Chimin tapestry, and I just cropped it on my crop tool on my computer, so it's not a big deal. Of course, you can always follow the pattern to the T, and I think it's like 35 by 39. I just cropped a few columns and rows, and we just continue to do such until we have 14 lilac-y background color stitches in our hook. And with our 14 stitches in our hook, we're going to grab our black, which is going to be our outline, and we're just going to do exactly the same thing, inserting our hook onto that front post only, pulling with our black, and now we have our stitch in our hook. Again, because it's 2 stitches, and there we go. We have 2 stitches that correspond to 2 of our squares for our second row. We're going to drop our black because we don't need it anymore, and we're going to continue with the rest of our purple all the way down our row. And doing this motion, or this stitch, is going to be our repeat for every row. So having to do this with our hook, which is inserting onto that loop of our previous row and pulling our yarn, is going to be true for the rest of our project. So this is going to be like our little repeat for all the way till we finish our tapestry. And now let me show you how to do our return pass and how to color change right here for our return pass. So we're going to chain 1. Always, for all of our rows, we're going to chain 1. Grab our yarn and pull through 2, pulling through 2 all the way down until, I'll tell you right now, just in a few seconds, where we're supposed to stop with our lilac color. Right here. This is where we're supposed to stop with our lilac color. And here is our very magical rule whenever we're changing colors on our return pass. So whenever you have 2 different color stitches in your hook, just like you're looking right now, we have a purple and we have a black. If you have 2 different color stitches in your hook, you always use that second color stitch to pull through these 2 stitches. So we're gonna drop our purple, we're gonna grab our black, we're gonna yarn over and pull through that purple and through that first black stitch, just like so. Again, the same rule applies, but of course, since we have the same color stitches in our hook, we're gonna continue with our black. Again, the same rule applies. 2 different color stitches in your hook, you always use that second color stitch. So we're going to drop our black, pick up our purple, pull through that first, and second stitch, and we continue all the way down our row. Simple enough, right? So whenever we go forwards, that's when we get to introduce colors, and whenever we go backwards or return past, that's when we get to switch our colors around. And this is it. This is all you need to know to make your tapestries with this stitch. I'll leave somewhere in this video a very much clearer image of our RJ tapestry. And of course, you can go down below in the description, because that's where I leave the exact link for this tapestry and Pinterest. And of course, you can always visit my YouTube channel to see the previous episode, which is Jimin. And of course, I'm gonna be making all the BT21 characters in this channel, so if you are up to that, you can always subscribe and stick around for those episodes. But of course, right now you are good to go. You know everything. You just continue to actually counting at the our very third row, which is again like 13 purple stitches, and then we do our color switch, and we just continue to do exactly what you just learned right now. Happy crocheting!